Hi, friends. So, in the afternoons, the older children and I usually do a read aloud where I read a book, and it's often a chapter book or a book that has many stories, like this one. It's called The Jamie and Angus Stories by Anne Fine. This is one of our favorites. There aren't as many pictures in this kind of book, and it is the perfect thing for you to listen to when you're all cozy and snuggled up, and you don't have to even open your eyes because there aren't a lot of pictures to see. You can close your eyes and use your imagination to think about what the picture would look like if there was one. So find yourself a nice cozy spot, maybe get a stuffy because we usually snuggle our stuffies at read aloud time. Maybe get a blanket, pillow, and make yourself nice and comfortable. And I'm going to read one of the Jamie and Angus stories. So this is where Jamie and Angus first meet. So it's the very first story from Jamie and Angus. It's called Dry Clean Only. Jamie saw Angus staring forlornly out of the shop window. His silky coat looked smooth as bathwater and white as snow. Forlornly is kind of sad and lonely. There is a little picture there of Angus. "Oh, please," begged Jamie. "Please, can I have him for my birthday?" "Your birthday was last week," Mommy said, trying to tug him past. But Jamie wouldn't budge. "Christmas then?" "Christmas is not for months," his mother said. "By then, you'll probably want something else." "No, I won't," Jamie insisted. He pressed his nose up hard against the glass and gazed at Angus. So he looked at him for a long time. Angus gazed at him. "Oh, please," said Jamie, "please." "All right," said Jamie's mother, "I'll get him. But that's what you're having for Christmas, even if you change your mind. And you're not having him even one day early." "I'll wait," said Jamie. "I promise. I won't grumble. I'll just wait." Angus spent all autumn and half the winter stuck in a plastic bag. His head was allowed to poke out so he could breathe. He was put so high up in the cupboard that Jamie couldn't reach him. He could only wave. So, here's Jamie asking his mother for Angus. But Jamie kept busy. First, he made a farm for Angus to live on. He patched fields together from all the green and brown scraps in the sewing basket. He painted cardboard tubes to look like hedges and built several splendid 5-barred gates out of popsicle sticks. He made a fir tree out of Granny's old sponge and a pond out of the mirror from one of her face powder compacts. So here's Jamie getting ready for Angus. And every day he kept Angus up to date on how long they still had to wait before they could really be together properly. When he'd finished the farm, Jamie built Angus a stall out of shoe boxes and corrugated paper. So that's paper that's a little wavy. It was a bit messy, but it was the right size, had a good view of the pond, and it looked very comfortable. "I think you'll be happy in it," Jamie told Angus. "Cozy and safe on dark nights and in storms." Angus gazed down admiringly. So Angus is looking at Jamie in a way that shows Jamie he likes what Jamie has done. At last, all the days passed. On Christmas Eve, Angus disappeared from the top of the cupboard, and under the tree appeared a funny-shaped package with legs and horns and 2 tiny holes punched into the snouty bit so it could breathe. "See you tomorrow," Jamie whispered to the package. The package rustled its paper excitedly. Can you guess what's in there? On Christmas morning, Jamie opened his present, and he and Angus were together properly for the first time. Angus adored his spacious greeny-brown fields. That means there was lots of room for him. He felt proud and confident behind his fine painted hedges. He admired his pond, and he was very, very happy in his stall. And Jamie was happy too. He'd waited so long to bury his face in that magnificent silky coat, as smooth as bathwater and white as snow. The only thing he wasn't sure about was the horrid, tickly label behind Angus's ear that said, "Dry clean only." "What does it mean?" he asked his mother. "It means that he can't go in the washing machine," his mother explained. "If he gets grubby or dirty, he'll have to go to the dry cleaners with all my suits and fancy dresses." Jamie knew Angus had heard. The next time they went to the cleaners, he felt Angus tremble in his arms. The glue smell was terrible, and the giant machines juddered and roared. Jamie leaned closer till the horrid label tickled his cheek. "Don't worry," he whispered in Angus's gorgeous silky white ear. "I promise you'll never, ever have to come here. I'll keep you clean." Angus gazed up at him trustingly. So, because they would never need it, and it was horrid and tickly, the next time he was mending one of Angus's fields, Jamie used the sewing scissors to cut off Angus's little dry clean only label and throw it in the trash. "There," he warned Angus sternly, seriously. "Now stay clean." But Angus couldn't. He charged over his field so fast he kept crashing through his hedge and sliding under the bookcase into the dust and cobwebs. Once, when his shed was being mended, he got mixed up with all the muddy boots. And when Jamie was touching up the popsicle stick gates, he got sticky with glue and tipped over a jar of paint. "He's looking pretty scruffy," Mommy observed. "Downright unsanitary," said Granny. So that means not clean at all. Jamie just held Angus tighter. But one day, while Jamie was away at school, Granny picked up poor Angus, frowned at the mess of dust and mud and glue and cobwebs and paint, and put him in the washing machine with the towels and the washcloths. She poured in the powder and pressed the on button. Here's Jamie whispering to Angus that he won't ever have to go to the dry cleaners. But we know he's not supposed to go into the washing machine. Disaster! When Angus came out, his silky white coat was gone, and in its place was a shaggy gray tangle. He didn't look like Angus at all. He looked terrible. Terrible. When Jamie came home and saw him, he burst into tears. "Never mind," Mommy said, trying to comfort him. "Perhaps he'll look a bit better when he's a bit drier." But he didn't. If anything, he looked worse. "He should have had a label," Granny said. "He should have said dry clean only. Then it would never have happened." Do you remember what Jamie did to the dry clean only label? And that's why it wasn't on. Yeah, he threw it away. Jamie said nothing. He just cried even harder. Angus spent that night in the kitchen and the next. Mommy said he was still too damp to be anywhere else. But on the third morning at breakfast time, Jamie found a funny-shaped package next to his plate. "From Granny," said the label, "dry clean only." Jamie took off the wrappings while Angus watched, anxiously, nervously. "I hope you like him," said Granny. "He's exactly the same." He was, too. His silky coat was smooth as bathwater and white as snow. Jamie buried his face in it. It felt perfect, except for that tickly label. Jamie took a good long look at Angus, still waiting patiently near the heater, all damp and gray and bedraggled, so super messy. Then he looked at the present from Granny, all proud and shiny and silky and new. So there's Angus. And there's Jamie with the new toy. Maybe this one would be too proud to charge around in the greeny-brown patch fields like Angus. Maybe he wouldn't think much of a stall made out of a shoebox. Maybe he would laugh at the painted cardboard tube hedges and the popsicle stick gates. Maybe he'd think the mirror pond wasn't big enough. Maybe he wouldn't be as happy as Angus, or as much of a friend. Jamie handed the lovely new present back to Granny. I think he should go back to the shop, he said firmly, so he can find someone else. Granny looked puzzled. I thought you wanted one with a silky white coat. Yes, Jamie said, I thought I did too. But now I know that all I want is Angus. So he's giving the new toy back to Granny. Angus and Jamie still play together almost every day. Angus still loves his farm, but now that he's scruffy and grubby looking, he can go anywhere without worrying. And when he gets absolutely disgusting, Granny puts him back in the washing machine with the towels and the washcloths and his greeny brown fields. He stares hopefully out of the little glass window while Jamie fixes the stall with tape and repaints the hedges, both of them waiting till they can be together again. Angus and Jamie, Jamie and Angus. That's the end of that story. I'll read another one in a day or two.